Hey, welcome in. You're listening to a weekend special on the Korelin Economics Report. All of these are originating from the San Francisco Gold Show. Got an old friend with me. Well, not really an old friend because she's probably 40 years younger than I am, maybe 30, Lindsay Hall. Lindsay is the chief market strategist for an organization called the RMB Group. Met Lindsay back in Chicago, interestingly enough, at the Hard Asset Conference there. Did an interview, learned more about what you do, you learned more about what we do, and we just had a good conversation, for lack of better terms.
Indeed.
I want to ask you about four things. You know, you're a technical person. My friend Rick Ackerman is a technical person. He's been pretty accurate on the show. I'm assuming because of your position as chief market strategist for RMB that you're pretty accurate too. I want to talk about four areas. First of all, gold. What do the technicals tell you about gold mid to long term? Forget the short term.
Sure. Okay, well, for the mid to long term piece, we talked in September with regard to gold, and I wanted to see it retrace. It retraced to the levels that I wanted and even a little bit farther, so that was great. And now we've set up, if you look at a daily chart, we've set up a nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern. Now, it might not be extremely clean, which means it might not pop as well as we'd like, but you're looking at a completion that might be around 1800 for gold. And so what we're doing on the option side of that is we have a bull call spread going out into April, I believe. April 2013 is what we're looking at, and it's an 1800, 1850. So you buy a call at 1800, and then you're selling a call at 1850, and that'll give you the opportunity. It's about a $1,200 expenditure for about a $5,000 profit if gold moves into that territory come April. So really, gold only needs to move about $100 for you to be in profit.
Let's talk about silver.
Okay. For silver, it's interesting because the charts are very similar. So on the daily perspective, you're looking at the same thing. If you wanted to correlate that, then you would want to go with something like a bull call spread again, but it would be a 35-36. So you'd buy the 35s, you'd sell the 36, and then we would want silver to be able to move that much by April of next year. So they're not really expensive, nice return, nice risk to reward ratio. And if the patterns come through for us, even in the next month or two, then you can make some money on it.
Dow Jones Industrial Average.
I don't like that one.
I know you don't.
Personal preference, and it might not be technical in perspective, but for me, watching it over the last number of years, I think that the fail in 2008 to me seemed a little bit false. I think the recovery was way too fast. I don't trust the levels. I think that a lot of people are out there talking, oh, stocks are cheap today. They might be cheap, but what are they going to do for you in the next bit of time? And then the election now has passed, and we saw the reaction there. At first, it was blamed on Europe, right? Oh, this has got to be what's going on in Europe. Well, Europe's been going on for a long time. So
Europe's been going on for a long time.
I don't think that that's the deal. And then we're still not seeing a lot of progression in the appropriate way. So for people that are invested on the stock side, I don't think that people need to run to the hills, but I think that it might be something to look at if you're considering bear potential. Try looking at the option side of things for the futures, for the indices, and then maybe kind of shore yourself up by utilizing a put or something along those lines on the Dow indices or the S&P indices, whatever you like, depending upon what your position is, right? So that way you can kind of keep your equity balance, but if it starts to fail, you've got the option in place that can make you some money and kind of protect your investment, and you don't have to pull everything out. But I think for new investors in stocks, just be wary of what you're getting into.
Okay, last subject. I'm really curious as to how you feel. You live in California. You live down in Malibu. Okay, that's pretty much blue territory. The whole state of California is pretty much blue territory. I believe there's a real strong correlation between politics and investing. I really believe that, and I've had that premise, Lindsay, for a long time now. One of the reasons that I'm not particularly bullish on the Dow, and one of the reasons that I am bullish on gold, is because of what I perceive to be the agenda of the current administration. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay. You know, my parents were immigrants. My parents ran like hell to get out of Russia rather than get killed, or out of China rather than get killed, okay? And I grew up in a home that really stressed free markets, capitalism, small government. Take care of yourself. Take care of your own. I don't see that philosophy permeating right now in our country. I think that's going to hurt the economy.
It does. I think it already has. It's interesting to watch, and you brought up California outright. We just actually got notified this week, I believe, that the Malibu court systems are going to be shutting down in Malibu and Beverly Hills and a couple of other places. Obviously, they're not large in population, but it's, again, par for the course. You end up with massive government and a lot of expenditures and a lot of it unnecessary. It's not very efficient in the way it's run. And, and you're talking also, you're looking at the economy headlines this week, right? Hostess, and your Twinkie is dying now because of union issues, right? And all of this kind of stems, it's all together, it feeds each other, and ultimately you don't see a lot of profit coming out of it. And so looking at roadblocks and barriers for people to start new businesses, I think there's a lot that feeds into that. I agree with you. I grew up in a military family. I think
I know you did, right.
So we
right.
we were taught to be independent and to be self-thinkers and to, just, and beyond that, there's a piece of team there. When you're in the military, you don't go out there as a one-man show, but there's still a lot of drive and initiative on the individual. You take ownership and you lead, and I think those are really, really important pieces that we're missing right now. To me, leadership outright means action. And when you're talking about action, you have to own your decisions as well. So you lead by action, not by speaking. And then you have to actually buck up. You have to own your decisions, right or wrong. Either way, you need to be able to own them. And I think that's a massive piece that's missing on higher levels, and it trickles down through the rest of society. If nobody's owning anything, then why would anybody want to, put themselves out there?
It's amazing how much passion you can elicit out of a person when they're talking about something that they really, really believe in. And Lindsay Hall certainly believes in what she's doing in terms of her business, and also she's got some pretty good convictions politically. Lindsay, thank you so much.